Now then, people, it's Joe, it's all Leeds TV, and it's time for another episode of Before the Whistle Blows. You're here with the likely lads, the regular boys. We've got Oscar, and of course, Corey, who's now going to be a permanent fixture. I know a lot of you think he's a Leeds United fan secretly anyway, so the fact he's agreed to do that, I think he might be. How we doing, boys?
Good, mate, good, mate.
Yeah,
can't wait for the Premier League.
Yeah, exactly. Glad the international break's over, Corey.
Oh, do you know what? Like, the only kind of highlight was Jack Grealish, wasn't it? It was the only one that I was like, unbelievable. We finally got his start and he was really showing himself. But typical England, though, wasn't it? Particularly against Belgium.
Yeah, do you know what? I didn't even watch it, man.
Really? Didn't watch it?
Yeah, nah.
Is that because Calvin's not in it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and even then, it's like
one half.
Yeah,
and that was it. That was enough for me, honestly. Just
I didn't watch the Iceland game. In fairness, I was like, I actually forgot it was on. So I was like, "What's that?"
This is the thing. I was speaking to Farrell. He sent me a message from Fulhamish, and he said, "I said, oh, I'm just glad football's back." And he said, "Yeah," he said, "I didn't find out till 10 a.m. this morning that we played last night." And I'm a bit like that. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know what's happened to Oscar. Is he?
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't even know.
What's going on with his face there? I think it's an improvement, to be fair. Here he is. He's back. He's back. How you doing, Oscar?
Oh, Insect's doing me head in today, honestly. Yeah, I'm doing good, mate. I'm doing good. I mean, the thing is, Grealish doing well is kind of like, I think Grealish doing well is like, it's like, I don't know, it's like I'm sort of happy and then I'm kind of thinking my pride's kind of gone because I wanted this guy to do badly because I've been kind of like having a go with him for so long. It's like, I've kind of got to admit now that he's quite a good player.
Yeah, good. And welcome, Egal. How you doing, brother? All right?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. You know, I'm the air of positivity. So most Arsenal fans would probably come on here and be like, hey, we might lose, but not me. I'm going to be different.
I'm good. That's what we like to hear.
I expected us to beat City, man. Let's be honest. If you guys remember when we faced City, everyone was saying, "Oh, City is so vulnerable. This is that," and now a couple weeks later, we lose to Aston Villa, and now everyone's picking us to lose to Leeds, picking us to lose to Wolves, picking us to lose to Tottenham. They think we're getting relegated at this point. The amount of losses.
Well, what we'll do, mate, we'll save Leeds United versus Arsenal to last. What we have to do is just have a little dance around some of the key fixtures over the next hour or so, and have a little chat about them, and then we'll finish. We've got a nice little quiz as well that we finish with, Egal. So we'll let you have a go at that. I don't know if Corey needs to have a go anymore, unless he wants to keep trying to see if he can.
I think last week was my chance, wasn't it? If I'd gone top, I would have just dropped out.
It's just football, mate. Just football. General knowledge football, man. Definitely not Spain this week, right, Oscar?
No, less Spanish questions this week. You know, that was a shocking week. That I was better last week. I mean, last week, it was too many Spanish questions.
Great stuff. Right, let's get cracking then. So we've got Spurs City. Spurs City is the first one I want to have a chat about. Huge news this week, which I didn't see happening, is of course that Pep Guardiola's signed a new deal. I think for the last few weeks we've been saying on this show, it can't be doing good for the club. The fact that Pep's not signing a new deal, is there a little bit of unrest there? Obviously, he signs a new deal. KDB signed a new deal. What are we thoughts on that? Are we surprised at all by that, Corey? Are you surprised he signed a new deal?
In a way, but in another way, I mean, because obviously most of his stints are in like 3 to 4 year periods, and this is the first time we're going to see Pep when he starts to get past that stage of building a side and then trying to build another side. But I think I've seen stuff kicking around saying the owner says, we'll back you fully, still got the money there. And listen, it's Pep. He's got all the money he wants. I think Leo Messi's going to go from Barca very shortly, probably in either next window or the window after. So I think that's his goal. His goal is to win the Champions League. He needs to be there a little bit longer in order to try and challenge for that. But it's good for City in terms of continuity. I think a lot of the fans are quite happy. I thought they would have sort of maybe gone for Poch and thought maybe a time to change it up. But I guess Pep is an unreal manager. So if they can get to anything like they were 2 seasons ago, then I'm sure they'll be happy with that.
And Oscar, how excited are you by the prospect that your idol, Leo Messi, maybe on his way to the Premier League? Do you think it'll happen? I'd love it to happen, I'd love him to be in the Premier League.
I don't know really, because obviously saw Guardiola's kind of said, not like said absolutely no chance kind of thing, but I think he said something along the lines of I'd like to see him stay at Barcelona, which seemed a strange thing to say, with like Guardiola's allegiances to like Barcelona, and it seems a strange thing to say, but look, it'd be fantastic. Bring him over, I say, bring him over, bring any of them over, any of the superstars from Europe, get him in this league. That's kind of my saying. Haaland, anyone like that, Sancho, bring them over. As long as don't go to Man United, I'm happy, or Chelsea. Just bring them over, I say. It's the more the merrier kind of thing. But yeah, no, look, I look at that for City and you think, it's obviously a sign of ambition. I think obviously there's money that's spent on centre backs alone. That kind of this summer kind of suggests that they probably had this feeling that he was going to stay, despite what we all kind of felt at times, what the media's kind of said. I mean, I only saw yesterday, literally an hour before it got announced, that Nagelsmann or Pochettino is one of those two we're going to take over in the summer. And that was off a respected source as well. So it's an interesting one, isn't it? But yeah, I think obviously City, Pep's obviously being taken aback by England. I think obviously the big thing is Klopp. He wants to topple Klopp. That's the big thing. He wants to prove that he is the greatest manager of all time. He wants to overtake Liverpool again, and that'll be really, really annoying Guardiola at the minute. No matter what he's won so far, all he'll be thinking now is Champions League, and knock Liverpool back off the perch is what he'll be thinking.
Yeah, good. Egal, just before I come to you, I need to quickly. I always forget. I keep forgetting. I need to sort my stuff out. I need to remind you guys that this video is sponsored by Football Prizes. The link to the description to Football Prizes is in the YouTube description. Yeah. This week, guys, you can win yourself a Jack Harrison signed and framed Leeds United shirt. The Patrick Bamford one that was up last week has now sold out. So the competition on this one runs from now till Wednesday the 25th. £4.95 a go, and of course there's 99 tickets available. For any non-Leeds fans as well, there's some other stuff out. There's a Jadon Sancho signed and framed Dortmund shirt. I believe there's now a Virgil van Dijk signed one up there, Rui Patricio as well. So if it's not just Leeds you're after, there is some other great stuff on there as well if you want to check them out. So remember, Football Prizes, their link is in the description. So Egal, what are your thoughts on City? I just want to caveat, I know Pep's just signed a new deal, but it is still Pep's worst start in management ever. It's City's worst start since 2009, I believe. They take on a very good Tottenham side. How do you see this one going on the weekend, Egal, between City and Tottenham?
Okay, on banter side, obviously I'm an Arsenal fan, so I don't like Tottenham, right?
Yeah.
So I can't be picking them against anybody. But they have impressed me, to say the least, and Mourinho might have actually had a bigger point to prove in this kind of game than any other game, because he's facing his arch enemy in Pep, and Pep just signing the new deal. To me, that means either Messi's coming, either Haaland's coming as a striker to replace thing, and don't even be surprised if, forget about all those guys, they go crazy and they spend money on Kylian Mbappe, because there's only a couple clubs in the world that can afford those guys, and it's them, Real Madrid, Barcelona, and the likes of those guys. And if Messi comes, wow, that's going to be amazing for us. But hey, going back to this game, I would have to say there's one thing we haven't mentioned. Heung-min Son is going to be out with the whole COVID-19 situation.
Okay.
There's been 10 players from that Korean team that's been ill with the illness, and not really ill, but just have tested positive. So because of that situation, he will not be flying back to the UK to make it in time for this game, and he could possibly miss the Chelsea game also. So that is a big game changer. And if they're missing Son and Man City's players are back fully healthy, I'm expecting City to have enough strength to win this game.
Wow, I did not know that. So his son definitely out. Is that hot off the press, or have I just missed that? Or
I think this was yesterday they announced it.
Really? I really need to get my data up to date then, don't I? 100%. So that is a big loss. But just on that, Oscar, if Spurs were to beat City and Liverpool beat Leicester, that's an 8-point gap already. Do you think it's too early to say that that's quite a big gap, just based on what's been going on this season with the amount of crazy results? But 8 points is still a lot at this stage of the season, would you say?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, City just haven't got into gear at all. They've scored 10 goals in 7 games. I mean, this isn't Man City. That's not what Guardiola teams do. They're winning games like 1-0 or drawing 1-1. It's not, it's not what City do, is it? And yeah, I think it's massive. I think if in terms of obviously Aguero, you're probably not going to get the full season out of him, are you? Probably not going to get the full season out of him. Jesus, again, quite injury prone too. There's still a bit of debate. Is he an Aguero replacement? Are they going to go in for Haaland in January, which might happen now? It's if City are in and around that kind of like top 2, top 3. Yeah, I think massive. Obviously they went 8 points behind around this time last year and they never recovered it. I think as soon as you're kind of playing catch up, you've got to play higher risk. You've got to win every game. You literally have to win every game, and you might get caught on the counter in 1 or 2 games and drop more points. I think it's never a good place to be in. I think the standard at the top of the table now, Liverpool, you look at Liverpool realistically. I know they lost that Villa game, but other than that, they've been pretty consistent, haven't they, so far? They've probably been the one team that's been really, I know other than Leicester, but they've been really consistent other than that, that stupid defeat to Villa. And yeah, you'd have to look at that for City and think, they've got to basically win pretty much every game, bar 2 or 3. And that's massive pressure at this stage. But I look at City and I think they can get something, to be fair, in this game. I think Tottenham without Son aren't the same kind of level of threat for me. I tell you what, a fantasy football team has took an absolute battering because my front 3 is Son, Mane, Salah. So, I mean, Salah's going out partying. Where's his priorities for the fantasy football? I don't know. He's out. He's not coming back in. Son, I don't know. Son needs to take some responsibility as well. And but yeah, I mean, obviously they've got people that can come in: Lucas, Bergwijn, Bale. Whoever comes in, but they're not going to be the same quality as Son for me in terms of when Kane gets the ball. How many times we've seen this season he plays those laser guided through balls into Son, and Son's just trying to run off the right back. And I think Kyle Walker will probably be the most relieved person out of everyone, to be fair, that he's not having to face Son, tomorrow, and he's going to face someone who's going to ultimately be a lesser player, aren't they? So yeah, I think City gets something in this, to be honest.
Don't be surprised, though. Don't be surprised. 10 players in his team got the illness, but he could still not get it. And Mourinho's that kind of guy where he won't tell you if he's playing until the last second. So all of us guys will be talking about how he's missing, and then 10 seconds before the game, you see the lineup and you're like, what? He's playing?
Yeah, true. But Corey, just on Jesus, yeah? I just wanted us to have a chat because obviously I do think Aguero leaves this summer. Do we see Jesus being able to fill them boots, or is it a case of, like Egal's mentioned, like Oscar's mentioned, do they go all out in the summer maybe for a Haaland and bring him to the Premier League?
Yeah, it's a tough one, mate. Isn't it? I mean, Aguero might leave. He might have one more season in him. I'm not sure how it will go. I know he's kicking on a little bit now, but you are right. The likes of Jesus, he has come in and he does give him a little bit more poignancy in attack. He can get goals, but he's not the same level. Obviously, as prime Aguero. Actually, what surprised me the most is Ferran Torres for City playing almost in that striker role, and he's shown particularly. I don't know if you saw the Spain game midweek, but his finishing is top class. And I think Pep's got a real player in him. But like you say, I think Egal touched on it. The likes of Haaland, maybe Mbappe, City are the only club that can afford these players. And it will come to it when they'll have to bring in someone of that ilk. Maybe Harry Kane. Maybe they look at Spurs and say, can we not bring him in? They're going to need it. They've struggled for goals. I think they've been all right this season, to be fair, City. They struggled at the beginning. But I think a lot of people are overlooking them. They are picking up points. They are picking up consistency. If they get Aguero back in, they'll start getting goals. They'll be up there 100%.
Yeah. And Egal, I know this is going to pain you to say, but do you think it's Tottenham's best ever chance this season for Premier League glory?
No, because at the end of the day, if Chelsea or City are in a situation in January where they're in a title race with Tottenham, who do you think is going to be in a better situation to go out in January to strengthen the team to put them over the hump? Is it Tottenham? Or is it Chelsea? Is it Tottenham or is it Man City? Is it Tottenham or even a Liverpool? Who is going to spend that extra money to put themselves over the hump? Because we've seen it before. The thing that always stops Spurs is when they're close enough, they don't go in. They don't put all the chips into the table. They kind of just say, hey, you should do it with what we have. If we can't do it with what we have, we can't do it at all. And you know what? It's a great man from Juventus. I think his name is Chiellini, said this is the history of Tottenham. So just know. This is what they do.
I love that, man. Boys, what are your thoughts? Tottenham, are they a shout for the Premier League title this season?
Oh, I hate this argument so much. It annoys me because, in fairness, like the first time, people started touting them, I didn't think they were that impressive. Like I thought they got a couple of decent games. Southampton with their higher line, Man United with their 10 men. Don't forget us, 3-3. We managed to get back at them, but I think Mourinho's show he's got a balanced side now. He's got squad depth, he's got options. They will grind out results. But it's a huge test. The Cities and the Chelseas. This is the real test for Mourinho. If he gets points in these type of games, then yeah, we can consider it. But I don't think Tottenham are as good as people mention. I think their front three are unbelievable with Bale, Son, Kane when they're on fire. But if one of them gets injured throughout the season, if Son's out, let's see how they perform, because it changes my prediction for the game if Son's out. So yeah, too early for me.
Yeah,
they need the centre half for me. They look at Tottenham. I think the rest of the team's spot on. I think Lloris is starting to play well again. He had that bit of a wobble, but I think he's started to play pretty well for him. He's been pretty crucial. The games where they've kind of just got through 1-0, 2-1. Lloris has made a couple of saves, and Reguilon's done quite well at left back. Doherty's done okay right back, and obviously Højbjerg's been superb. But I still look at it and think, Alderweireld, what a player he has been, but he's kind of 33, 34 now. Eric Dyer next to him. He probably needs that. I think Alderweireld would be absolutely fine if he had a pacier person next to him. If Tottenham had gone out for, say, Ruben Diaz or something like that, or someone like that, someone just to play alongside Alderweireld, a little bit more mobile, I think they'd have definitely been pushing for it. But I think the fact they're playing Europa League as well, Thursday night, Thursday, Sunday, you don't tend to see teams in Europa League do too well in the league. There's obviously a few exceptions to the rule, but that's the one obvious area. I think even if I look at Tottenham, even if they had Son out for the season, I still think they'd have a good chance because they've got so much depth. If Son's out for the season, look, I know Lucas, Bergwijn, not the same level of player, but they can still do a job, if you know what I mean. So I just think it's defensively where the issues will come. I think they'll probably be the top scorers in the league, or second or third top scorers just behind Liverpool. But that's the only weakness for me, just at centre half.
I think they were going for one in the summer, right? They went for the kid Cabango at Swansea, was it? And
they got him in, I think. But again, the thing is, it's like
Skinner. It was Skinner.
Cabango they got.
Skinner, the guy.
They got Joe Roden, wasn't it, from Swansea?
Okay.
We tried to get him, and then said he was too expensive, and Tottenham got him, obviously. So
they tried to get the guy. They tried to get the guy Skinner
from Inter Milan. Skriniar, I think. Yeah. So maybe they go and get that centre back in January. Then, obviously, if they brought Rodon in, I couldn't remember if it was Rodon or Cabango, but I know they went to Swansea for one. So I mean, we'll go for score predictions in this one. Oscar, what's your score prediction?
I'll go City to nick it 2-1.
2-1, okay. Egal?
City to win 2-0.
Nice. Corey?
I'm going to go 1-0.
1-0. And I'll take Spurs just so we've got a clean sweep. I'll take Spurs 2-1. We'll have to wait and see. Right, let's quickly just touch on Chelsea. Of course, we're always going to touch on them. Do you know what I recognised as well, Oscar? I don't know if you got the feel where Egal was saying if Chelsea are in the hunt for the title, they'll push on. And then Corey said Spurs have got to come up against big tests now in City and Chelsea. Have you noticed how it suddenly turned and everyone's like, Chelsea are now a team. Chelsea are now doing bits. So how does that make you feel, first of all, Oscar? Because it kills me to hear people start talking about Chelsea in that same bracket.
I think it's Chelsea. It's still early days for me. I think, obviously, I know, look, if I take the bias out of it, they've done pretty well. Like, since the last international break, they have turned it round a bit results-wise. But look at who they've been playing. Burnley, Sheffield United. Look, I know Burnley's quite a tough place to go to, but at the minute, I think you'll see a lot of teams win at Burnley at the moment. And obviously, Sheffield United, are just not playing well at all. And, that's two of the wins. And obviously, Man United, they got the 0-0 draw. But you watch that game and think, if they play like that against Liverpool or City or even Tottenham, they're going to get beat because Tottenham just have the quality just to play through them and just stop them from parking the bus. It was embarrassing how they tried to play in that game. But, look, I know Chelsea, But I still think it's early days. I think obviously Thiago Silva's had a big impact, but I want to see them do how they do against a Tottenham, how they do against an Everton, how they do against an Arsenal, how they do against the top 6, the top 7, the top 8. I don't think they've really played any of them yet. In fact, they've only really played Liverpool, haven't they, so far? And they were shocking in that game.
Yeah, they were,
in all honesty, they're parking the bus at home and your second, third game of the season. It's pretty shocking, isn't it? Really. So early days for me, but they're probably doing it about what I'd expect them to do. I did sort of say at the start of the season, I think top 4 at most. I still don't think it's a title challenge. I just think they've just been over the season inconsistent. I think they're just going to have good spells, bad spells, and maybe if they make a few January signings, have a bit of luck on the injury front, they might push for the title. But I'm still feeling calm about it, mate. I'm not getting too nervous yet.
And Egal, obviously we've not heard your thoughts. We've heard Corey speak on Chelsea a few times. I just wanted to get your thoughts on Frank Lampard and Chelsea, and do you see them as being challengers for the title?
The thing that's going to hold them back is Frank Lampard.
Oh, I love you. Love it.
I'll say this with the calmest face. I'll say this straight to the camera if you want me to. It doesn't matter. I genuinely believe if you put Bielsa, took him from Leeds, put him in Chelsea, tomorrow they'd win the league. I genuinely believe that. Because I feel like even maybe not exactly that simply, but if you had a better manager than Frank Lampard, you gave him a Klopp, you gave them a Mourinho, you gave them a Pep, you even give them a guy like Ancelotti, they're winning the league with the squad and the amount of investment that he's getting in the squad. Because any manager who gets that level of investment should be challenging for the league. But it's almost like Frank Lampard is the media's darling, and because he's getting this amount of investment, anything he does is great. He just could challenge. You're doing a great job. No. You spend 200 million, you have to win the league. You can't be spending 200 million and say you can't win the league.
I love this.
Yeah.
Corey, are you a Chelsea fan?
No.
Egal, we Leeds United and Chelsea have a long rivalry that goes way back, and we've got quite a disdain for Mr. Lampard as well. So we're with you in that he's the media's baby. There's a lot of love for him, and we don't actually rate him. In all honesty, we don't think he's up to much. Just on look, they have turned a corner. Let's not kid out. It hates me. It pains me to say it, but they have done that. They have, obviously Mendy coming in's been great. They've had a number of clean sheets. Havertz is back now as well. Werner's been scoring midweek. No, he didn't score. He scored on international duty, I believe. He's been, getting his shooting boots on. But one thing I will say that I found out today, that they don't have a good record against Newcastle, especially at St. James's. They've got 1 win in 9, right, at St. James's Park. So there's a little bit of a hoodoo there. Now, I know I'm just clutching because Newcastle is terrible.
How long you spent Googling it before? Where's the bad stats?
I must be able to find something. So Chelsea as a team have only won 1 in 9 at St. James's Park, which is quite a lot of games. But Corey, can we see anything other than a Chelsea steamroll away at Newcastle?
No, to be fair, I think they'll score a couple of goals. I mean, look, you are right. Frank Lampard's almost got immunity from the media in terms of, but he has that from his own fans. The fans won't hear a bad word said about it. And there are tactical things in his game, particularly the way he sets up, that I can't understand. Obviously, he has a lack of managerial experience. We see that he's just come from Derby, all these types of things. But, and I hate to say it because I really don't like Frank Lampard, there's something about that team that show that they're trying to correct some of the errors. They're being a little bit more defensive. They're throwing maybe a pivot in there to try and sort of shore things up. Thiago Silva come in. He sorted that back 4 out quite nicely. They will push on this season. It's just a question of how consistent they are. And again, like we said with Spurs, when you start playing the top teams, played Liverpool before, what are they going to do? Because I can honestly see Manchester City coming up against them and having some real joy. And then they've really got to think about it then. I don't think they're not going to challenge for the title, in my opinion. And you look, and that's the difference between Chelsea and Tottenham. Is Tottenham have got Mourinho, he's been there, he's done it, and Lamps hasn't. So yeah, but they're looking good, mate. Unfortunately, they are looking quite good.
I'll give them one thing. I'll give them one thing and one thing only. They have the opportunity to be the next great dynasty if they hit the window of opportunity with the young players that they purchased and they continue to buy well, they have up-and-coming stars in Ziyech, Timo Werner, in Havertz, and even you can go back in the defense and you can look at Chilwell, Reece James, Zuma. They have a lot of young up-and-coming players. If they all hit the ground running, they could turn into the next super team.
There is that, but I agree with you, but I don't think it's happening while Frank Lampard's on board, you know. And I agree with you, Egal, in the fact that a lot of them will accept top four, but for me, spending that kind of money, you've got to be challenging, especially the state, you know, the divisions in at the minute and everything that's going on and the crazy results. It's a perfect opportunity for them, but no one's really talking about them in that breadth, when really, if it's someone else other than Frank Lampard, they probably would be. But this is a good shout from... Yeah, this is a good shout from Lee. Obviously, they've got Newcastle, Tottenham, Leeds, Everton, Wolves, Arsenal and Villa, Man City, Leicester. That's quite a run for Chelsea, isn't it? So that's a really tough run. There's only really Newcastle. I think we'll give them a game, but maybe I'm being a little bit... But there's some very, very tough games there for Chelsea. And I guess after that run, we can really say if they're going to do bits, you know. So that's quite a run. Yeah, so let's go score predictions then. I'm going Newcastle 1-0. Smashing grab. Egal.
Shelby from 60 yards.
Yeah, I'll take that from Voldemort. Egal, what's your score prediction?
I could see a Newcastle. I could see a Newcastle 2-1.
I love that.
I could see it.
Yeah, Oscar.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. 2-0 Chelsea. Just think if Newcastle showed any bravery, but they won't because Steve Bruce just won't. He'll try and park the bus and they'll get caught out. 2-0 Chelsea.
Corey?
Yeah, same, man. I think Chelsea too strong for them.
Yeah, probably will be. I mean, they are missing Chilwell. He's a loss. I believe he doesn't make the game, but I don't know whether or not that's enough for Newcastle to be winning. But I'll go 1-0 for
Alonso. Is that bad? You know, St. Max the man running at him. You know, you never know. You never know. Yeah, fingers crossed. There, we can live in hope. Right, let's move it on slightly. I just want to touch on Manchester United, West Brom. Pogba's been at it again. Obviously, we're on France, making a few comments. You know, I love coming to France. It's like a breath of fresh air. I get to express myself. All this sort of stuff that he said. Do we think it's a matter of time before Pogba's gone? Do we think it's best for both, you know, parties for Pogba to part way, Oscar? Yeah, I think so. I think it's this. I mean, I'm a big fan of Spanish football and that lot, but I mean, there's been this rumor: Pogba to Real Madrid, Pogba to go to play under Zidane. You know, his idol. Zidane really likes Pogba. It just feels like a matter of time until Real Madrid are going to get that checkbook out and say, you know, we'll go for Pogba. Or if it's not them, PSG, Juventus. You know, there's so many clubs who, you know, as much as Pogba hasn't shown what he's about in England, which is actually hilarious to be fair, but you know, he's still a very good player. You know, he's still got a lot of ability. If he's managed correctly, you get a lot out of him. You know, he's seen it for France, the performances he puts in. But yeah, I think if you were, the big thing with Solskjaer is that the biggest favour he can do himself is to stop playing Pogba, because I think the whole balance doesn't look right when they have him in the team. They look a mess, especially defensively, because you know Pogba's not going to work. Fernandes doesn't work. They're a mess defensively when they have him and Fernandes in the same team.
Yeah, definitely. Corey, thoughts on Man United and Pogba and that whole situation? To be honest, I thought, and I said the last time we did this, that I thought, regardless of the result against Everton, I thought Solskjaer was going to get the push. Just with Pochettino as having 2 weeks off, I genuinely thought we'd be looking at a new manager come the next fixtures. Just because Pochettino was on the scene, 2 weeks off, perfect opportunity to get shot. They haven't. So, I mean, what do you see next for Man United? I think they'll win the game against West Brom, if I'm being totally honest. But what are your thoughts on the Pogba situation and Solskjaer still being in the job?
Yeah, I mean, kind of like Oscar, I do actually rate Pogba as a player. Like I've sort of watched him and thought, he's decent, but he just doesn't work in that Man United midfield. And Ollie can't figure out that midfield at all. He's chopping and changing every week. It's McTominay, then it's Fred, then it's Matthews, then they're out. He can't. And what the sort of telling thing for me against Everton was, I thought Solskjaer was a goner. I was like, there's no way, particularly against Carlo. And and they pulled out a result. And you just think, what are these players doing? Every time it gets very, very close to Ollie getting sacked, they're like, oh, we'll just turn up. And it really is that, because You know, they play the same system or the same players, and then they just become completely different. And I think this is just going to go on. And it has. I think there's actually like more of a toxic issue at Man United, much deeper than just because this has happened under like 3-4 different managers now.
Yeah.
Players turn up and they don't. They need someone to go in. They almost need like a Klopp or a Guardiola, that stature of manager, to come in, sort the club out again. I'm sure you're buzzing that they're still struggling. I don't mind. I'm buzzing Ollie's still in the job when we play him next month. But yeah, I think they'll get the win because I think West Brom have been so poor. But it's only a matter of time, mate, isn't it? It's only a matter of time before they go on a losing run and the same questions come up.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, isn't it? It's like he goes on these mad runs, gets some good results in the Champions League, then he'll lose a few, and then he manages to save his job. Egal, what's your thoughts on Man United and Ollie?
First thing, Paul Pogba has never shown what he can do in the Premier League. Come on, man. Oscar, 2018-2019 season, the man scored 13 goals, 9 assists in a team that, finished second? I love Paul Pogba. I'm a France fan. I'm an Arsenal fan, but I also support France. And that guy, I feel like he gets mistreated, he gets misquoted, and just sometimes downright borderline things that I see that it just doesn't sit right with me. So when it comes to a player and the person, to me, there's no question. He's a talented player and he's a wonderful person. It's just there's an agenda, and Manchester United is the biggest club. So they're going to get criticized, and players are going to get it a lot more than our players. So that's one guy I just want to leave out of this conversation, in my opinion. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know what he is? He is the manager who gets you to your manager that can win you something. He's the stopgap manager. He's that guy who's never going to win you anything, but he can lay the groundwork for the next guy to push on. But to me, Manchester United, the problem is not the owner. The problem is the owner and the people he hires. It's not the coach and the players. The players and the coach can only do the best they can do. But if they're getting sabotaged, what can they do? These guys, you guys made more first team signings than they did in the transfer window, I believe. Because think about who they brought in. They brought in Van de Beek. He hasn't played. He's not a first team player for them. They brought in Cavani. He's not a first team player for them. He's a bench player. They brought in Telles, the only first team player they brought in. The other 3 other signings they made are youth players that they're selling to them as first team players. So what Manchester United have is a big mess, and the mess is at the top. And for us to criticize Ollie and the players, it's very unfair at times because they're getting sabotaged.
Oh, I don't agree with you, Egal. I think you've been very, very, very kind to Ollie there. Very kind.
No, he's the man. He's the man for the future. Ollie in. We should.
I tell you what. With Ollie, yeah, right. I think it was when the season started again and United started getting results, and I said, okay, fair enough. He's managed to turn it around. But like his team can only play one way. Is when he could just counter teams. The minute he has to break teams down, there's no plan B. There's nothing to do. And I think, yeah, you're right. There is a toxic issue at Man United, but there's no way anyone can't tell me that if Poch goes in there, he's doing wonders with that group of players.
Yeah.
If Poch goes in, first thing he's asking for, a head of recruitment and a head of scouting.
Yeah, no, he will. Yeah, he wouldn't get that. Yeah, it's true.
Martial hasn't had a shot on target all season. That kind of sums it up, doesn't it? He's their centre forward. He's not had a shot on target in the league. That kind of sums it up. And their manager is at the time was one of the best strikers in Premier League history. If we're being honest, and he can't even get his main centre forward to get shots on target, and that kind of sums it up. But yeah, I know Pogba's showing spells. I know what Egal's saying. He's showing spells of what he can do. He's had some absolutely brilliant games, but I don't know. I know he had an all right that season you quoted, but didn't achieve anything. That's what the thing. Pogba at Juventus, he carried that Juventus team. You know what I mean? I don't want to sound like Graham Souness here, but he's not. I do agree. With what Graham Souness is saying. He's not carrying them. In the way like a Scholes or a Keane or so. I know he's different personality, but I've not seen that from Pogba. In terms of seriously carrying the team. He's got the odd goal, etc., etc. But for me, when you're playing 90 million, you need more. I think than just one good season. For the stats.
And
that's fair.
I do get what you're saying. Like, I get he can be an easy target as well because of the character that he is and he's expressive, and because maybe he's quite active on social media, all that sort of stuff, I get what you're saying, Egal. I do. And maybe that's why I make the point as well. It's probably best for both parties if he was to move. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then not, you know, and then it's a new fresh thing. But Ollie's at the wheel. Look, and you know, you said he's like a stopgap. Once Ollie gets binned off from Man United, he doesn't get another job.
No,
Where does he go?
I disagree.
Wrexham.
He would go back and downgrade himself somewhere in Europe. But guess what? He's going to get another Champions League job in Europe now. Being Manchester United manager is so big on your resume that a team like, let me give you an example. A team like Monaco will be like, I'm giving Ollie the job because he's managed Manchester United. That happens in Europe. Look at Ranieri. He won the league with Leicester. He got sacked. Immediately he got a random job in Italy.
I suppose. Yeah, I remember Villas-Boas. He got a lot of work as well, didn't he? To be fair, after he took the Chelsea job and stuff, I know he ended up. I think is he in Russia now or is he in China?
Marseille, isn't he?
Oh, is it Marseille? So,
yeah,
I mean,
he got a bust, didn't he, against City, and he got loads of stick for it.
There you go. But he's been all over, hasn't he, to be fair, on the back of the Chelsea jobs, you know, because I think he at Zenit for a little bit.
Yeah,
he's doing everything. I think he was in NASCAR at one point.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. No, I genuinely, I think he'll struggle to get another job, Egal, if I'm being totally honest, because I just know his record. He did all right at Mould, but that's Mould. I mean, he got Cardiff relegated initially, you know. I think it's mad that he's got the job, but there you go. We'll go for some score predictions. Can West Brom get anything at all? Egal, I'll come to you.
No, it's Manchester United 3-0.
3-0, Oscar.
2-0, Scum.
Corey.
2-1 United.
Yeah, I think West Brom might score. I mean, they surely can against Chelsea. So I'll go 2-1 as well. We'll go 2-1. Locks, our good friend Locks, Leicester City Fan TV, has said, evening lads, can Leicester win the league again? We're going to talk about Leicester Liverpool, and we'll talk about Leicester in some more detail very shortly, Locks. So make sure you stay tuned. I just want to briefly touch on Fulham Everton. Everton have now lost 3 in a row. Quite a drop after initially being touted for possible title challenges, but it's been quite a drop off. And Corey, I just want to ask you, mate, about Fulham. Obviously, you were lucky to get away with the 1-0 win against Fulham, and when I seen that penalty by Lookman, like, if I'm a professional footballer, like, he's getting a clout in the dressing room. It was absolutely brutal, wasn't it?
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I mean, look, you got to imagine. I thought it was typical West Ham. You're playing 90 minutes, and I thought we were going to get 2-3 goals. I was on here saying, I reckon, I'm really confident with the Fulham game. Obviously, Scotty Parker pulled something out that he's done his homework on. I'm like, oh no, and it's difficult to break him down. Bit of magic from Ben Rama in that kind of last few minutes. And yeah, mate, the penalty. And I was saying on the stream to the lads, I said, forget the penalty missed, but the fact he's even tried to attempt that based on the points they've got, they need it. Scotty Parker was fuming, mate, and I would be. Imagine if that was for Leeds or West Ham.
Oh, mate, nah. I mean, especially the situation that you're in. Like, I would be like, some of them top pros need to get hold of him and be like, "What the hell are you doing, boy?" You know, that is to miss it, but like you say, to try the. Oh, it was just shocking, wasn't it? I even seen like the West Ham players like with the hands around him to say, "You're all right." I'd have been like, "You."
Did you see Fabianski though? Fabianski literally goes up to him after, starts pointing at him because he was trying to take the mick. He was trying to do it, and he was like, "No chance," especially not with Fabianski in goal.
Yeah, no, but go on, Corey. But Fabianski won the ball.
You guys know the last time that happened was Alexis Sanchez versus Burnley, and he Panenka'd him to win the game in the 95th minute. Somebody the Burnley keeper,
yeah. They scored all right.
It does happen. It's just not everyone can do it.
That's what I'm saying. If you score, if you score, then it's fine. But I just think, man, especially the situation that they're in. That's the thing. What Fulham got like 4 points. You know, it's like it's a big thing. But how do we just quickly see this one going, guys, before we move on to Liverpool, Leicester, Egal?
What's the game?
Fulham Everton, mate. Fulham Everton.
Oh, Everton all day long. Calvin Lewin, James Rodriguez winning this game 2-1.
3 losses on the bounce, though. Oscar, do you give Fulham a chance?
You know what? I think Lookman, obviously, if he bounces back from that penalty miss, so he actually played quite well in that game itself. He actually caused, a couple of problems. But yeah, I still think Everton. I think you look at the Calvert-Lewin, one of them's going to put a few in the back of the net. Pickford will probably throw one in the back of the net. 2-1 Everton.
Corey?
I'm going to go 2-0 Everton. I think Fulham did well last week or a week before, but I think Everton, they need the points as well now. So, yeah I think they'll come back.
Yeah, they do, and I'd rather they pick up points than next week against us. So let's hope they give Fulham a bit of a drubbing. So just let's touch on Sheffield United, West Ham as well, Corey. While we're at it, obviously away at Bramall Lane, it's a tough place to go. Sheffield United have had 2 weeks off, still without a win. They need something to happen and something to happen quick. Do you look at the Sheffield United side and are you worried at all, or do you just think like your attitude with the Fulham one? Do you just see you getting an easy win in this one?
I think it's different because I've done my preview on Sheffield United, and I don't think they're leaking a lot of goals, which is the issue. I don't think they're as bad as people make out going forward. They still create chances. Obviously, they score a goal against Chelsea. So I said for long periods in this game, I can see West Ham or Sheffield United having a lot of the ball. But it's a case of when you get to sort of 70, 75 minutes, Sheffield United just open up because they're desperate to score. And obviously West Ham, if we've got Ben Rama on the pitch, Jared Bowen, if we bring on Mikel Antonio, it should be fairly routine. But you can't write them off. They're struggling because their strikers just don't score enough goals. They're trying to get in from midfield. They've not got Sander Berg, which is a huge loss as well. I think no Ender Stevens there. They've got some serious injuries. So I think they're struggling. Teams are figuring them out. It's the same system, same style. Let's just sit low, soak it up a bit, hit them on the counter, and you'll get a result. So I think West Ham will do the business, fingers crossed. Saying that, we'll probably go and lose now.
We've had Hal on here before, though, haven't we? And Hal said, like, if the opposition team score, the most they can hope for is a 1-1. Like, because they're not going to score 2 goals. So I think, like you say, Corey, if you score in the first half, then you're guaranteed at least a point. I think that's the way you have to look at it. How do you see this one going, Egal? What are your thoughts on West Ham, first of all?
First things first. Said Ben Rama is the player that I've been looking to sign so we can play him on the left wing. I liken him to a Robin Perez. In my opinion, he has the ability in his locker to be better than Riyad Mahrez. And the signings that West Ham have been making lately in Bowen and getting him on loan, you guys now have a dangerous front three. I don't think West Ham are going to have problems scoring goals anymore. And if we come back in a couple of weeks' time and Said Ben Rama has had a hat trick and he's done some crazy stuff, you guys remember this. Remember my face.
I believe you, man.
This guy is amazing. Okay, and you know what? If you ever do any West Ham videos or anything, just put Said Ben Rama in your title because he has his own fans.
I've already done it, mate. They've already subscribed. I know.
He's like Messi over there.
I know.
That's how big he is. But yeah, this whole game for me is a West Ham win. The only thing that I would give Sheffield United a break would be the fact that Sheffield United now currently have better strikers than they had last year. But the problem is their defense has gotten worse. So it's going to balance out, and it's going to be a West Ham win, and it's going to be, guess what? It's going to be a 1-0 West Ham win.
Nice. And listen, me and Oscar know all about Ben Rama. He's a top player. I wouldn't have minded him at Leeds if I'm being totally honest. What have you made of him, Corey? Has he been getting a lot more game time now, and what are your thoughts on him?
Well, first, he obviously did get a run out against Fulham. We brought him on. It was good to see Moyes starting to bring on the early subs because sometimes we're just sitting there waiting. Brought him on 60 minutes. And yeah, he's good. He takes players on. He's exciting. The thing with Ben Rama isn't his talent because he's clearly got it. But he's changing from a completely different system at Brentford where they're more expansive to a system where we soak up a lot of pressure and have to hit teams on the counter. But from what I was actually impressed with him against Fulham was he was taking men on and beating them. You sort of associate him with dribbling sort of in that 10 role, but he can actually beat a man. And that's so important for us. I think when we get Antonio back in, Ben Rama gets more of a start, see how many games he can get in the next few. I'm excited because Bowen and Ben Rama together, in terms of goal contributions to Championship, we're up there for 2 seasons. So we've finally got a decent front line, which is great.
Yeah, man. I mean, Jared Bowen basically got Hull knocking on the door. They sold him in January and then they got relegated. So that tells you all you need to know. But Oscar, can Sheffield United finally get a win in this one? I think it's a perfect. I think they've got a chance, against West Ham. And that's no discredit to West Ham, Corey. I just look at it and I just think 2 weeks off, back at home. They need to get something quick and maybe they can nick it 1-0. What are your thoughts, Oscar?
I can't see it, to be honest.
No.
I know Sheffield United, I just look at it and think it's so hard to pinch West Ham back, really, because, you've got Bowen, Antonio, just that threat on the counter all the time to think about. I just don't think either fullback will always have it in the mind thinking, you know what, if I push up too much here and we lose the ball, they're in on goal kind of thing. And that's always going to be on your mind when you play West Ham. They could get something on a set piece, but I just think West Ham are playing. They're finding a way to get something in pretty much every game at the minute. I think it's 11 points out of the last 6, is it, Corey?
I think so, mate. Yeah.
They're finding a way.
I think Corey with a little grin on his face there. We're loving that.
Honestly, before the season started, you'll know more than anyone. I was like, this is it. We're going down. So the fact we're even, and the table as well lies a little bit because our fixtures have been so difficult. Some people say, well, you're only 11th, but the performances, the teams we've played, it's just about getting points in these type of games because if we screw these up.
You almost beat us at home. You should have beat us.
I know, yeah. And that was the first time we played the 3-4-3 system. And then ever since then, we've just got more comfortable and confident. So fingers crossed.
Creswell's had a renaissance.
yeah. I mean, the fact that people were going Creswell for England, I was like, all right, lads, it's a little bit too much. But the chance creation from left centre-backs, different class. And he was one of the players at West Ham. I was like, every time he played left back, it's like he's going to get beat. He's going to go too far forward. He's a different player. He's a different player at centre back now.
Nice.
I still think Ben Rama, though, when you're trying to sit back and you're Sheffield United, he's just going to produce a amount of magic. We've seen, Sheffield United, not to be disrespectful, because Hal, if he's watching this, will be fuming with what I'm about to say. But when you look at it, in terms of the quality of players they have, it is very much still a championship team for me in that kind of sense. And you look at Ben Rama, what he's done at that kind of level. I just think this is the kind of game where he probably really thrives for West Ham. And I just think they're just going to keep it tight. That back three's done a superb job. I don't think McBurney's at it at the minute. I don't think McGoldrick's particularly at it either. I don't see where the Sheffield United goal's coming from other than a set piece.
Do you think it was a waste of money in Brewster? You guys seen him. Is he a waste of money in the Premier League?
He's unproven.
I think he's quality. He knows where the goal is. We had I forget who it was now. We had a Liverpool fan, or I spoke to a Liverpool fan before, and they said he made the wrong move because Sheffield United's not suited to him. I think Brighton might have been in for him, and maybe that was a move for him. And you look at the style of play and probably think, actually, yes, because I don't know whether or not Brewster can work in this Sheffield United side. What do you think, Oscar?
I agree, to be honest. At first I thought, what a great signing it is. And I still think, as you say, all the signs are, he's got that quick turn of pace. And if Sheffield United plays to his strengths a bit, and tries to play a bit more football, to be honest, just moved it out and, and passed it around a bit more, like Brighton do, to be fair. As much as we like to have a bit of a laugh at Brighton, I think it probably would have been the better move. I think even, look, I know we were never in for him, but I think someone like us might have even been a better move for him, or, even thinking who else, even West Ham, might have been a better move for Brewster. I think maybe he might look at it now, Liverpool, with all the injuries they've had, and think to himself, maybe if I'd have stayed around another 6 or 7 months longer, Mo Salah's out now, Mane's been in and out, African Cup of Nations to come in as well. He probably will regret that move if he's being honest.
They have got a buyback clause as well in there, haven't they? I think Liverpool, they're very smart with the business, man. They're brilliant, to be fair. But yeah, Egal, he's a top player, knows where the goal is. I just don't think he's maybe suited to Sheffield United. So we'll go for score predictions. I'm sorry, Corey, but I think they might nick it, mate. I'm going to go 1-0 Sheffield United. I know, I'm really sorry, man. I'm getting you back for saying Chelsea are going to beat 2.
Yeah.
Egal.
Well, I think it's going to be a 1-0 to West Ham. It's going to be one of them. I think it's going to be one of those games.
Yeah, Corey?
Yeah, I think it's going to be 1-0. I don't think it's going to be a whitewash. I think it's actually going to be one of them games I'm going to be sitting there going, come on, West Ham, just get the goal and get it done. But yeah, 1-0 for West Ham.
And Oscar?
2-0 the Hammers, mate. 2-0. 2-0.
2-0 the Hammers. I love that. Right. Now let's talk on to another big game for me. Huge game. And loads to go through as well. Not quite the biggest game of the weekend. That's Arsenal Leeds, of course. But I just wanted to I just want to talk on Liverpool Leicester. First versus third. Massive chance for Leicester. Liverpool literally have no backline. No Williams. I don't know if Fabinho will make it. No Gomez, no Matip, no Virgil van Dijk, no Trent Alexander-Arnold. Robertson, I think, is the only fit real defender there. I mean, there's no bigger chance really for Leicester to actually get something against Liverpool. They haven't lost at home, though, Liverpool, since April 2017. But if I'm Leicester, and I know they've got injuries of their own, but you've got to look at that back line and think we can literally, they could get 3 points. I know it sounds crazy, but it shouldn't even sound crazy. Like, Leicester are doing bits, and I think it is the perfect opportunity, for Leicester to actually come away from Anfield with 3 points. Egal, I can see you nodding, I can see you smiling. What are your thoughts, mate?
In the Premier League era, let's be honest, the past 7 years, who's a bigger club, Leicester or Liverpool? Forget about the Champions League. Forget about everything else. Just the Premier League alone, when you really think about it, Leicester.
No, man, I'm not having this.
That's a tough one.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest, okay? Liverpool won the league. Liverpool, this team is so great. It's been 30 years, all the romance and everything. But guess what? When you win the league, the next year, you're the number one target, okay? Banter aside, they are the number one target. Nobody's scared of them anymore. There's no more unbeaten run. This Leicester team is going into this game, in my opinion, the favorite. Now, with Salah out, with their whole back line out, we can make jokes about them having no back all day, but that is actually what's going on right now. They don't have a back line. And the midfield, you're asking the midfielders to now be defenders, or you're asking little kids who've never played football in the Premier League before to be your main defenders. To me, Liverpool this year, their season's done because they cannot even think about winning the league. And in my opinion, if they win the league, it's more embarrassing on us rivals because how are we letting them win the league with this many injuries? Arsenal should be finishing higher than this team with the amount of injuries they have, but we're not going to finish higher than them, unfortunately, because they have such a better team than us. But still, it's embarrassing if they beat us and if they beat anybody else in this league ever again. Because they should lose every game.
You're killing us.
I'm just thinking how salty Egal would have been if Liverpool had gone the season unbeaten. How much worse would have been if that happened.
I'm absolutely flabbergasted why every single game they're still being picked as the favorites.
Come on, man.
Leicester team is the favorites this game. Let's be honest. This Leicester team last year almost beat them if it wasn't for a Mane jump. Like, we're good.
No, come on now, Egal, right? Listen, they've not been beat at home since April 2017. That's a huge stat in itself. But I'm not saying they're favourites, but what I will say is it's the perfect opportunity now for them to play because, like you say, if it wasn't Liverpool and if it wasn't Klopp, any other side, I would be looking and I would go with you and say, like if City had their backline ripped out, I'd be saying Leicester all day. Man United backline, it's just something about this Liverpool side, something about this Klopp side where I still feel by saying I think Leicester are probably going to win that I'm still cautious with it because this Liverpool side are brilliant, aren't they, Oscar?
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at like the fancy football thinking, what they're predicting the back line's going to be. It's going to be Nico Williams right back, Matip, Phillips centre backs, Andy Robertson left back. I mean, that tells you everything you need to know. It's completely makeshift.
I don't even think Williams is fit, you know.
And that's a debate as well. You know what I mean?
I've read it might be James Milner at right back.
And they've got down here, James Milner's going to play midfield. So they're going to have to put another kid in at midfield. So, but you just still look at that front three, though. Jota, Firmino, Mane, even without Salah, that's still a feared front three. I think Jota has been absolutely unbelievable, in terms of how he started. We've spoken about, obviously, Corey's mentioned Ferran Torres. I think Jota's probably a close contender for signing of the season so far. You know, and I look at it and still think they've got the firepower. But yeah, I look at this and think if Leicester don't win this game, then I can't. I'm struggling with saying they're going to be title contenders because a real title contender goes to Anfield. You know, and I do hear what Egal's saying. You know, with Liverpool in this situation, you know, you look at, you know, Man United back in the day, Arsenal, you know, under Wenger and that lot at the start, they would go to this Liverpool team and win that game, you know, with the makeshift. City, back in when City, you know, 2 years ago, will go to Liverpool and win that game. I think Leicester, if they want to be considered title challengers, have got to at least get something. If they lose that game, then I think confidence-wise, they'll be absolutely battered. But it is the fact it's Klopp. It is the fact it's Liverpool. It is the fact they always find a way to win. You know, I think even this season, they've not played well in certain spells. I think against West Ham, against us, you know, at home, they only sort of just got through both games. They just somehow find a way, Liverpool. But, you know, Leicester have got a chance, you know, going into this.
Yeah, massive. Look, 6 wins on the bounce, Corey, for Leicester in all competitions. Locks is buzzing. Locks is loving Egal. There's a lot of love in the comments for Egal. 6 wins on the bounce in all competitions. This is the time, isn't it? This is the time that Liverpool get beat at home, surely. Because if they don't get beat at home off this important Leicester side, for me, well, they ain't going to get beat. Because it's the perfect time now. Come on. I sort of agree with the gal that Leicester should be looking at this as saying we can genuinely take 3 points in this. What are your thoughts, Corey?
100%, mate. Like, this is a real it's a test for Rodgers, but I actually do think that the criticism that I had of Rodgers before was, particularly last season, is he gets so far and then the team kind of crumbles a little bit. But, you know, I look at that game when he lost to West Ham and we really did a job on them. See him the next game, they come back, they change the system a little bit more defensive, soak it up. And that's the criticism of Rodgers. Can he change his game plan? Now he's proven that he can do it. He becomes a little bit more of a complete manager. You look at Leicester's squad, by the way, their recruitment's unbelievable. They've had injuries as well. You know, they've had, indeed, he's been injured most of the season. Mendy's come in, done an unbelievable job. I think Castagne's out now, but they've got sort of Mark Albrighton at right wing back, but they still keep chugging away. I think it's a perfect game, I've got to be honest. I think if they're a bit more expansive in this game, push up on Liverpool, particularly with that back line, and you've got Jamie Vardy and Harvey Barnes to get past that Liverpool back line if they push on. I think this is the best chance Leicester have got to beat Liverpool. And if they beat them, then I think they need to be considered as title contenders at least, because I think the squad's better. It's got so much better, and Maddison's going to come back in as well. Yeah, I really like Leicester, honestly. I know we beat them, but I thought they were a really good side.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think there's going to be goals galore in this one. I do. I think Connie Gal.
We forgot something. There has to be a moment of tribute for Virgil van Dijk every game. May we remember the greatness of Virgil van Dijk, and may he rest in all our memories. And thank God for his family. And his memory will forever live on in Anfield. But hey, let's banter aside. How many injuries do they have? Like, it's not even a joke, guys. These guys had a candlelit memorial for the guy in the Champions League game. Like, okay, so it's done. Then you got Joe Gomez. You got Joe Gomez. You got Trent.
Yeah.
You got what do you call it? Jordan Henderson even got injured during England, right? You got Salah got COVID. Firmino might have COVID. This is going crazy. You got Alexander-Arnold coming back from injury. You got what do you call it? Who else? Ryan Williams. They just put a kid in there, and guess what? Somehow his knees are made out of glass. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Come on then, Egal. I'm going to put you on the spot. Then, what's your score prediction?
They're losing at Anfield 2-0.
Yeah, man. It's so hard to say as well. And I'm speaking with some Liverpool fans after this as well, so I need to watch what I'm saying.
I think Egal should be back.
They'll be like, where's that Egal? Get me his number. Oscar, come on, score prediction.
It's that record Liverpool have got, isn't it? April 17, is it?
Yeah.
3.5 years. I think they can get through it. 1-1, I think. It won't. I think the key battle is Mane versus Wesley Fofana. I think Fofana has been unbelievable so far. I think if he wins that battle against Mane, though, I think Liverpool are struggling then all of a sudden. But yeah, I'll go 1-1.
Go on, Corey.
Struggling too, man. Like both of Oscar and Egal are saying what I was going. I think, I'm going to go 2-0 Leicester. I just think that it is that kind of game. And I just think it's aligned, isn't it? The injuries and how Leicester's form. I think Leicester can do it. But like you say, that home record's unreal. Wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool grind it out.
Yeah, I think Leicester are going to win it as well, you know, and I think it'll be good for it as well. It'll be good for the league, man. Let's blow it all wide open. Let's have a madcap league. Let's just blow it all wide open and Leicester come away from Anfield and dent that record. Let's hope.
Yes.
I think it could be a good game, man. It's going to be a great game. It's good. Some amazing fixtures this weekend, to be fair. We'll move on to this one. Michael Kappa thinks it's going to be 23-6 to Arsenal. I don't know if that's going to be the case.
Defense isn't that bad.
I know, yeah.
What is that? NFL score?
Yeah, exactly. Egal, you've been pretty conservative when I've spoken to you on previous games, but I want you to go in now. Tell us what's going to happen on Sunday and how Arsenal are going to win this game.
Oh man, you know what? You brought me on the channel. Respect. I'll be respectful. You know what I mean? This is what I said before I met you guys, and before anyone brought this game to us. I said after Aston Villa, we have to go out and we have to win this game. And to all due respect to Leeds, it's almost like people are saying because you have Bielsa and you have a former Argentinian manager, it's like almost like he is a better manager than Arteta. He is a better tactician than Arteta. He has more experience than Arteta. Hence, he should beat Arteta. And I'm like, it doesn't work like that. Let's be honest, guys. We have better players than you guys. We might not have the best creative players. You guys have more creative players than us, but we have a better defense. I would argue we have a better goalkeeper. I'd argue we have a better goal scorer in Aubameyang. It's just Bamford's on a better form right now. And finally, you guys are not Barcelona. That's what people are making it out to seem like. You guys are playing like a Barcelona style football, but you guys are not Barcelona. You're still Leeds. You still just came up from the championship. All due respect, there's still a gap between teams that get promoted and teams that have been here mainstays for decades, not decades, centuries in the top division. Arsenal has never been out of the Premier League ever. We're one of the only teams that have never been relegated. And you know what? After 16 years, it's beautiful that you guys are back. But let's be honest, a lot of my fan base are very pessimistic fans. I'm going to go into this game. I'm always very optimistic. And our record against Leeds, our record against teams that just got promoted, our record away from home against teams that play attacking, everything says we're going to win this game, in my opinion.
Boom, boom. Oscar, what's your response to that, my man?
I want the gal to go back to having a go at Liverpool, to be honest. I think obviously I can't disagree with anything the gal said there, to be fair. You know, look, I know I go into this game, I said on a pre-match this morning, I feel confident. I still feel confident going into this game because I look at Arsenal at the minute and I just think, 2 weeks since that Villa game, there's a lot of pressure on. There is a lot of pressure on. And obviously, us guys were on the football terrace yesterday, and it could potentially be 5 defeats in 9 games. And look, I massively rate Arteta. I've said it, from the off. I think, for his first few games, there's clearly he's building something there. But I think the pressure is on Arteta now is that because they've spent the money on Partey, because they've spent the money on Gabriel Magalhaes, the pressure is on now for results as well as positive, good performances, etc., etc. He's got to give some results now as well. And I just think they lack creativity. I'm not really looking at them in terms of the way Leicester and Palace played. You had Maddison there, Zaha, who could just produce a moment of magic out of nothing. I think the player they have who can do that is Pepe, but Pepe doesn't seem to be particularly in favour at the minute. I follow quite a lot of Arsenal fans, and they're not very happy about the way Pepe's being treated so much, is what they're saying. And that's an interesting one for me. But I look at it and think, I just don't know what Arsenal we're going to get. I just don't know, because there's no way Arteta's not going to make changes after they lost 3-0 at home just for the international break. There's no way he's not going to make a few changes. And maybe he brings in Pepe. Maybe he even starts Eddie. Maybe he even looks at Eddie and thinks, okay, go and prove Leeds United wrong, or Bielsa wrong, that you should start games. That might be what he's saying. You don't know. And it's an interesting one from that point of view. But I look at the really big battle for me is Bamford versus Gabriel at the back. I think that's, I think it's 2 players who are in superb form. I think Gabriel's probably been the best centre-back in the league so far for me. Certainly left-sided centre-back with left foot. And then
Cooper.
That's the thing. Better than Baresi himself, mate. It's well, let's not go there. Let's not go there. I'm trying not to think about Cooper versus Aubameyang, but you know. But no, look, even Aubameyang's out of form. But you look at it. There's no way Aubameyang's going to stay. What's he scored 2 in 8? There's no way that's going to continue, you know, and that's quite kind of a worry from that sense. But I just think tactically we look better at the minute. I think there's more creativity for us. Maybe defensively, but there's no doubt we're weaker than Arsenal at the minute. But I just think we're playing more exciting stuff, to be honest, out of the two teams. And for that reason alone, I just think we're going to have a lot of the ball. Arsenal have got the counter-attacking threat, but we've had 2 weeks to work on that. Bielsa's not this stubborn person we make out. He's not this stubborn person we make out. He will look at those last 2 games and said, we need to look at this counter-attacking problem. You know, this problem of when we have 70% of the ball and teams hit us on the counter, we've got to find a way to stop that. And I just think, I feel confident. I think we're going to at least get something from this game.
Can I rebuttal one thing?
Go on, Egal.
I'm so sorry for cutting you off there, but I gotta say one thing. The reason why we've lost 4 out of our opening 8 games is because 3 of those games were against Liverpool, Leicester, and Manchester City. 3 teams that people arguably could say over last season finished above us, and we.
What about Aston Villa?
I'm not gonna say anything about Aston Villa game. We got beat.
I'll let you finish, Egal. I'm gonna let you finish. Go on.
No, we got beat from front to end for that game. But the Liverpool game, we could have drawn that game if Lacazette had his shooting boots on. The Leicester game, we had bigger chances than Leicester, but we couldn't finish our dinner. First half was the best first half of our season. Second half was absolutely bad. I could have said another word, but I didn't want to say it. And then when it comes to the Man City game, if you guys watch that game died after 60 minutes. There was 2 chances for us. We didn't finish our dinner, and Manchester City just said we're shutting down shop. So I don't think it was as bad as you guys think it is.
I'm gonna give you a rebuttal to that. Them same 4 teams, right, that you've lost to. Leeds picked up a point against City, only just lost to Liverpool due to a penalty, and battered Villa 3-0. So, do you know what I mean? So, we picked up points out of them games. You know what I mean, my man? Do you want to just quickly answer this one, Egal, about Ozil?
Okay, if you guys don't know, the Ozil situation has become political. It has become strictly from the top, from the ownership. And getting into too much depth would actually get you in trouble when it comes to YouTube. What I would say is, if you guys know, Arteta is the manager, but I feel like what's going on with Ozil has come from the top. It's come from the money men, and Ozil is bad for business when it comes to what he said and what he stood for.
Boom. That's quite intense. Let's move on quickly.
quickly.
Yeah, quickly.
Before anyone Googles what's going on.
Yeah. But do you know what gives me real confidence before we come to Corey is the fact, and I was listening to something earlier on, Bert Leno has the shortest average pass length of any player in the division. Arsenal have more touches in their own box than any other team in the division. Against Leeds United and the high-pressing team that we are, and the packs that we're hunting, and the man-marking system, and some of the individuals in your back line, the fact there's no Partey, and Xhaka and probably Ceballos, I think Leeds United are going to have too much joy in pressing Arsenal high. We'll nick the ball away with the likes of Click, etc. Then into Rodrigo, nice little pass, and Bamford's in. I genuinely think that's what gives me so much excitement. And I guess that's how I think we'll win the game. And I question the speed in which Arsenal transition. They're not like... They have the capabilities to do it, but they're not like a Leicester who go from front to back, bam. They're not like Crystal Palace who can go from front to back, bam. It's more methodical. And I just think that's how we win the game. There's a real reluctance for Arteta to move away from that passing out from the back, even if it makes sense tactically. So I just think, I look at Luis. That's the one I'm talking about. I'll name check him. I just think he's a bit kamikaze and he'll get caught on the ball. He'll try a Daft Cruyff turn in the box and get caught on it. And I think Leeds United win the game that way. What are your thoughts on that, Egal?
I think you probably picked the wrong name. David Luiz is one of the best center backs in the world football with his feet. Let's be honest. He's one of the best at passing the ball. He's one of the best at getting out of situations. The person you want to be playing this game is somebody like Said Kolasinac, who playing on the left wing. But luckily he's not going to be playing this game. Unfortunately, he did get tested positive for COVID. I hope he's okay. But of course, in these kind of games with teams that are pressing, the guys that we don't want is David Luiz. We don't want Mustafi. We don't want Xhaka playing. We don't want these guys playing because they're the ones that can get bullied off the ball and give you opportunities. But if you have David Luiz, Gabriel, Tierney, and Bellerin, those 4 guys are really good with their feet. They might not be the best defenders in Bellerin and David Luiz, but with the ball at their feet, they're a lot better than what we have been having. And all those situations where you used to see back in the day where Zaha takes the ball from Mustafi in the box, that doesn't happen with the Gabriel and David Luiz. Watch Sunday, it happens, but oh man,
do you agree with that, Oscar? Best in the world?
I wouldn't go that far. I think I'd rather see Rob Holding play. I think Rob Holding's just completely daft, to be honest. I think he can have a brilliant 89 minutes and then just give you a goal, basically, just pass you the ball kind of thing. It's almost like, I think there was one game, I can't remember, I think it was the Villa game, honestly. I think he had a bet on Villa, to be honest, in that game. I mean, but yeah, no, I think obviously Partey for me is their best passer by a mile. I think for me, Partey is probably one of the best passers in the league. I think that's a massive, massive loss. I think he's not got that player who's comfortable under a press kind of thing, who can just burst away and just set Arsenal away in that sense. I think Xhaka, I think Xhaka on his day is a top player, to be fair, but again, against their press, Click will probably try and wind him up a little bit. I think that's the thing. I think when you wind Xhaka up, you get him on the card early doors, the opportunity's there. We know there's one thing with Granit Xhaka's guaranteed is a yellow card in pretty much any game he plays at some point, or give a load of fouls away near our box and that lot. And yeah, the interesting one's who to play alongside Xhaka. Obviously El Nenny's out as well. I think El Nenny's played pretty well this season.
Ceballos, surely. I think there is only Ceballos.
Ceballos, I don't know. I think Ceballos, is he going to be calm under a press? He's more of a number 10 for me. Is he going to be suited to dropping deeper and picking the ball up off the back 3? I think Tierney
might still be feeling it off the Luiz as well. He might still be feeling it off the David Luiz to the north,
it plays its part, doesn't it? In that kind of thing. And it is massively questionable. I mean, if Arsenal go over back 3, they might change to a back 4. They might completely tear up the notebook and say, what, we're going to try something different in this game. It's not worked for us. And if they do that, because look, I know obviously Leicester, not so much Leicester, but Wolves, they went with a kind of a different approach to what we're kind of expecting. They dropped very, very, very deep in the first half. Didn't even try and counter us, just literally let us have the ball for 45 minutes. And then second half, they went a little bit more front foot, changed the approach a little bit. Maybe Arsenal do that. Maybe Arsenal do something a bit unexpected. But I definitely think the press is almost like a creative option for us. I think we can create from that because we can just win the ball back and hit Arsenal on the break. I don't think there's a lot of pace in that back line. I think Gabriel, Tierney, good 1v1, but against pace, you don't know. Maybe they might struggle a little bit more. I think especially Tierney. I think Gabriel's pretty assured, but Tierney, I remember that game against Liverpool, moments in that game against City, against pace, a little bit rash, but, still a good player. But there's opportunity for us. There's opportunity. I certainly look at right back, Bellerin defensively against Harrison. With how direct Harrison is, Shuey Dallas, pushing forward as well. Click probably drifting over to that side. Rodrigo back in the team. I think that left-hand side's a big opportunity for us, and especially pressing. I just think there's opportunities for both teams. You can say the same thing about Arsenal. We'll look at our back line, Robin Coughlin and Cooper. Any loose touches, Aubameyang will be onto him. And we just got to be aware of that. And, obviously, they might even look at defensive midfield. Obviously, we're just playing Calvin there. If they try and play number 10, and try and take Calvin out of the game, it's a really intriguing game, because let's not forget that game at the Emirates, 45 minutes, we looked like it looked like
Barcelona.
Championship team. Arsenal looked like the championship team on the day, and obviously second half they pulled it round a bit. But Arteta respects us, He massively, massively respects Bielsa and Leeds United. And what he said was it was like going to the dentist after the game, and they won the game. So massive respect to be paid to us in that game, I'm sure.
Corey, thoughts on it, mate? Just quickly.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, I think Arsenal have really struggled, to be fair. I actually had them to sort of finish 5th or 6th this season. I thought they were going to push on, but they're struggling with a lack of creativity. I watched them against Leicester. They're getting frustrated. Like, Luiz is trying to play a switch ball constantly to the left side. Can't get any further forward. Aubameyang's looked pretty absent this season other than Fulham. Arsenal plays really odd sort of tactic where they try and get Lacazette to almost play like a 10 or Willian, and they try and get the players to move on, but it doesn't work. You're coming too deep. There's no one that really carries the ball. Obviously, Partey's that guy that can be a defensive midfielder, but can be a bit of an 8 and carry it. And I think Arteta's game plan long term, I guess, is to maybe go to a 4-3-3 and have Partey in there with someone else. But for now, he's having to play a formation that's going to be more defensively solid. But any team that comes like a Leeds with pace and switching very, very quickly, they can't deal with it. That's why I think Leeds in this game, even the likes of Bamford, I'm not saying Bamford's quick, but just his movement in general, in terms of being in the box and creating chances, I can see it just being a Leeds win. And on paper, Arsenal technically, I don't even know if they have the better side anymore, to be honest. But it is getting to that point, isn't it, with Arsenal, where they've got to start creating. Do you know what I mean? Or they bring someone in January that creates or change the system up, because I don't think they can keep being at this level. They've got to start getting goals.
Yeah, man. Corey, what's your score prediction then?
2-1 Leeds.
Nice. I'm going 2-0, Oscar.
I'll still go 1-1.
1-1. And Egal?
I've been going the same way the whole time. I'm going to go 2-1. And
2-1.
And by the way, I wasn't saying David Luiz. 2-1 Arsenal. I wasn't saying David Luiz is the best in the world with the ball
on the ball. One of.
I was saying one of the best with the ball at his feet, but he is one of the best passers from the centre back position in the world. Let's be honest.
No, he was great, man. I remember that season at Chelsea, man. He's class, and but I just think he's always he's a bit of a train wreck for me, and I think he could try something daft. And just with the Leeds United press, I don't think you'll get away with it. But I guess we will have to wait and see.
There's one guy we never mentioned. There's two guys actually we never mentioned. Bukayo Saka is going to be crucial in this game. That I can't believe none of you guys mentioned him. And another guy, since our midfield Partey might be gone, if we play a 3-man midfield, don't be surprised if Joe Willock gets his first start of the season. And he is the only guy that is the closest thing to Aaron Ramsey. Since Aaron Ramsey left, we haven't had a midfielder who can get into the pockets, play like a Dele Alli type role, and score goals from a midfield position. We don't have goals from our midfield.
Do you think he will change it, though, for this game, Egal?
I pray that he does, because I feel like we have enough defensive capabilities to defend. It's just we need more people going forward. Because I know when you guys go forward, you send 5 people to one overload. And we need to match that. We can't be defensive, or else we might not win this game. It's going to be a boring game if we play defensive.
Who would play left back if you went to a back four then? Because obviously Tierney, Saka kind of swap around all the time when you play. But who's go to left back then in that? If you did go to back four, would you say?
Lacazette's dropped. It's simple. Aubameyang striker, Lacazette dropped. Saka on the left, Pepe on the right. Left back would be Tierney, as long as Tierney is healthy from his trip over in Scotland.
Nice. I guess we will wait and see. So I know Egal has to leave us very shortly. So how long have you got, Egal, just so we can get this quiz done, my man?
Yo, don't worry. I'm good for a little bit. My wife's coming home from work. That's why I had to head.
Cool. No worries. We're going to tie it up soon anyway. We normally only do an hour, but it's been a great chat. It's been a great laugh tonight. So, Oscar, do you want to take us away, mate? We've all smart, aren't we? And let's see what Egal can get.
Right, guys. Let's get on with it.
It's that time again. It's time for All Smart, Aren't We? With your host, Yanni Alieski.
There you go.
So, guys, this week's contender, Egal from EGTV.
Yeah.
How you doing, my man?
I'm good, man.
So, I guess, is Corey doing it? Is Corey having a go?
I'm retired, man. I'm retired.
Corey's retired. I think I want to go after.
Okay, what's the two sets of questions?
Okay. home or away? Bearing in
Home.
mind, home's the easy questions.
Home.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. You took my word for it there, mate. You trusted me there, mate. Probably not the right thing to do. But, Wayman, are we good on the timer?
We are minute.
Okay, let's go. Which American businessman became owner of Aston Villa in 2006?
Skip. I don't know.
Okay. Which mercurial French footballer joined Marseille from West Ham United in January 2017?
Payet.
Yeah. Which Bolton Wanderers midfielder scored 14 goals and 100 appearances for PSG in 2002?
JJ Okocha.
Correct. Which English midfielder made his international debut in England's 6-0 win over Luxembourg in September 1999 and played 33 more games for England?
Is it Lampard?
Incorrect. Who is England's oldest outfield player in the 2002 World Cup?
2002 World Cup. Sol Campbell.
Close, but incorrect. Who is England's youngest outfield player in Euro 2004?
Euro 2004. Is it Theo?
Incorrect.
That's it, Oscar. That's it, my man. That was two.
2 out of 5.
Two?
That's bad. How many questions did you ask?
There was some tough
6.
ones there, man.
6,
Yeah,
yeah.
they were tough ones.
I made it tougher last week or so.
Yeah.
So, which American businessman took over Aston Villa? Anyone?
Doug Ellis.
No. Randy Lerner.
Lerner. Okay.
The England midfielder.
Was it Carrick?
No. Kieran Dyer, it was.
Okay, I wouldn't have
Like
gotten that.
33 games he did for England. Madness. Oldest outfield player. Ex-West Ham.
Oh,
Gareth Barry.
no.
Eddie Sheringham.
Oh, he doesn't know he went to the World Cup.
I wouldn't have gotten that.
Youngest outfield player.
James Milner.
Rooney.
Yeah. It was
Rooney.
when the tournament when Rooney exploded.
Yeah,
He was
was
playing
the
like
one
a
up,
proper
wasn't
footballer for
When did
England.
Theo go?
2006.
Did Theo go for 2001?
2006 it was. That was actually the next question was 2006. But yeah, no, it's a decent effort, mate. It's a decent effort, but you'll beat that big time, mate.
What's the lowest? Because I feel like I'm the lowest now. At least
You're not.
You're definitely not, man.
You're definitely not the lowest. You're probably watching this who's the lowest, and the value of my life, so I'm not going to say it was the lowest.
Cool, man.
Oh man, that was amazing. Honestly,
Cool.
my heart was beating. I was worried that I was gonna do so bad. I was like, I had to be the worst. Man, I'll tell you this: my football knowledge, it gets tough because I started watching football late 90s, early 2000s. Even though I was born in 91, I didn't watch football until late 90s because I got into it in 98 World Cup and France and everything. That's where football started for me.
My memory's not great anyway. I want to go, Oscar. I want to go anyway. Corey, time this. Let's see what I can do.
God,
I'm nervous now. My questions have been critiqued here. They're too difficult. I mean, we've gone from too easy to too difficult. I mean, I can't win, guys. I can't win. I'll get the Spanish questions out for Wayman, especially.
Oh, don't, man, because I'll have a nightmare here. I normally do all right answering them, but I'll have a nightmare now the pressure's on.
Right. Ready? Oh, I might ask. I'm just the timer. Sorry. Go on, Oscar. Sorry,
Are we ready, mate? Are we ready? Let's go. Which team has won more top flight titles in English football? Everton or Aston Villa?
Aston Villa.
Incorrect. Which Dutch striker finished as top scorer in the Premier League in 1999 and 2001?
Van Persie.
Incorrect. Which striker is the all-time top scoring Belgian in the Premier League?
Hasselbank. What? Say it again.
The all-time top scorer in Belgium in the Premier League.
KDB.
Incorrect.
No fuck.
Which English club won the FA Cup in 2014 and 2015?
Arsenal.
Correct.
Oof.
Which Finnish defender made over 300 appearances for Liverpool between 1999 and 2009?
Sami Hyypiä.
Correct. What was?
Time.
Oh God! that
How
was
did you
horrible.
not get Lukaku?
Oh man, I panicked. I panicked.
How did you not get Lukaku?
I know. I knew. Was it Jimmy Floyd as well?
It was, yeah.
I knew, man. It's just a panic.
He did it.
It's the panic, mate, that gets you when you're on there.
Van Persie would. Where was Van
Van
Persie
Persie?
in that?
It was like 2.
Was it? Who was it? Who was the
Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank.
man.
Oh, okay.
And it was Lukaku. It was Lukaku.
Yeah.
And,
I can't believe that.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
You were
Floyd.
nervous though after that Lukaku one. You were nervous. You were
Gonna get 0. Yeah.
you were thinking I shouldn't have done this. Get in the stream.
Right, guys. So just before we do leave, thank you, honestly, guys. It's been brilliant. Corey, class as always. Egal, great to see you, mate. You've gone down the storm, which is great. Remember, everyone, this video is sponsored by Football Prizes. This week, you can get a Jack Harrison signed framed Leeds United shirt, £4.95 a ticket. 99 tickets available. And if that doesn't tickle your fancy, like I say, there's Sancho, there's a Virgil van Dijk one up there, Wayne Rooney, Rui Patricio. So if you are interested, make sure you check them out. The link is in the description. Make sure you check out both of these guys' channels as well. We've got EG TV. I was over there yesterday. Great laugh. Arsenal content, some great stuff over there. And of course, the West Ham Way with Corey. Make sure you check them guys out as well. And does anyone want to say up before we go, or shall I end it there?
I'm sweet,
All
mate.
good, man. All good.